Good afternoon, Jackie, and welcome to Business Spotlight Interview.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm really looking forward to this interview. So to get started, Jackie, maybe just for the listeners, can you give us a little bit of background on yourself, the business you own, how long you've been in business, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So Studio South Atlanta was actually born in the beginning of 2021. 2022, but I've actually been doing this since 2011. I started in a little space in Tyrone as a talent agent. I was partnering with a casting director at the time, and we noticed that what was happening was a lot of our talent they weren't trained. So I kind of pivoted from being an agent to being a coach, and I have a background in education, so it kind of worked out. So I've been coaching ever since. And my first baby was called the Charlie Group, and that was open until 2019. And in 2019, I decided to sell that and kind of work on my own career a little bit, pay more attention to my own 3 kids that I had at home and were growing and changing and needing mom a little more. And then a lot of my clients were just like, hey, we really need you and we miss you. We need you back. So after the pandemic, decided that it would be a good time to open back up. So Studio South was born, and here we are. And so it's a full service acting studio. We do actor training, particularly for film and television, not theater. So we are very different from theater acting in that it's a very technical craft, a lot more so, than maybe improv or something else. On-camera work is very specific. So we do focus on that. We do also offer improv classes, and then we do vocal and voiceover in our space as well. So we have an amazing vocal coach, Erin Walton. She's been a staple in Coweta County for many years. She coaches for us. And then Nicole Britton, she is our voiceover coach. And the voiceover is anything where you don't see their face, but you hear a voice. And that is an industry all on its own. So we do training in that as well.
Yeah, I believe it. So for the viewers out there, you heard some names and some counties. So you heard Tyrone, you heard Coweta, maybe Newton. Those are all areas maybe 30 to 40 miles south of Metro Atlanta proper. And I loved your overview because you covered a lot of stuff there, meaning you were adaptive to your sort of personal life situation with your family. You were, keen on and zoomed in on what was the market demand, which was, a pivot, as you called it, for yourself. And then you started the business around one of your skills that matched with the demand. So well done. I love
Thanks.
it. So Jackie, tell me, who's the first person that you would say comes to mind for you when you think of success?
Oh, do I give you the cliche answer? Or do I give you a real answer?
Real answer from the heart.
I mean, I think of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really well-rounded person in the sense that he cares a lot about his family. He will do anything for his family, but he's also very educated. He has his MBA. He's been working in the computer field for his entire life. He is a published author, but more so, I think success in my eyes is how you treat others and how, you walk through life. And I think that he would definitely be the person that I look up to.
Yeah, that's excellent. I get the answer a lot, which warms me on the inside, honestly, because as a parent, we're all called to be the inspiration for the next generation. So fantastic, I love it. So you've been in, it sounds like business sort of proper. You said I think 19, kind of right when the pandemic hit. But you've been doing this for a long time. It says 2011. So what would you say, kind of as a business owner, has been some of your business learning during that journey?
We have definitely adapted over the years. I used to hire out a lot of coaches and have them work under me, but what I was finding was a lot of folks just wanted me, which is fine, but it was hard to find the balance between being a mother of 3 and really devoting most of my time to my children and my family. and also being a successful business owner and coach. So that has definitely been the biggest challenge for me, is just finding that balance and being available to my kids as much as possible while also trying to be available to everyone else's kids.
Yeah, I can only imagine balancing all that is quite difficult. So look out, Jackie, for the next maybe 5 years. What's the aspirations or the goal, the vision for Studio South Atlanta?
Ultimately, I would love to become a nonprofit. For the majority of my adulthood, I have worked with children and teens, and what bothers me the most is accessibility. And I think particularly for the film and television business, it's expensive to be an actor. And so I would love to pivot and become a nonprofit where I can offer my services to children who may not be able to afford this.
Yeah, that's a great idea. A lot of people don't know a lot about nonprofits, but nonprofits are still business. There's just no profit online, right? You can still draw a salary, you can still employ people, you can still give prosperity to the people that work. You do it at the lowest cost possible, which gives back. So I love it. Yeah, that's really good. And for a lot of people, that's not really even a consideration. A lot of businesses could consider it, but don't even know about it. So thanks for that answer. I really like it. So I don't know a lot about the acting industry, I have to confess. Probably most people don't, but I know there's been strikes, writer strikes, there's been actor strikes. You have coaches on staff, voiceover, singing, acting, pretty broad bad. So what's been the impact of all this relative to your employment and the overall business?
Yeah, so I wasn't really anticipating a huge effect on the training side, but it has affected us greatly. And it kind of came as a little bit of a shock to me. Most of my acting families will recycle the money that they make as background actors. And when there's no work, there's no background work. And so I've lost about 30% of my clients due to the strikes. So that's been a little bit of a hit. I do offer sponsorship for students. And thankfully, I do still have a handful of sponsors that will sponsor an actor, sponsor an artist. But we still have a few that are not sponsored currently. So I'd love to get a few more on board if that's possible, because I really don't like to say no, especially if there's a want and a drive to become a working actor and they are available to come to the classes. And perhaps there's a neighbor down the street that would like to sponsor them. That would be really lovely. And we have a form right on our website where people can go and sponsor a student. So yeah, it has hit us a little harder than I was anticipating.
Well, hopefully at the end of this, when I give you a chance to kind of pitch your last position, you can solicit another sponsor from the area. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
So as you know, I'm a business coach, so coaching is near and dear to me. It sounds like you're a coach, more or less to your students and the people that, subscribe to Studio South Atlanta. So I'm gonna ask you this question. So who's been your best coach in life and why?
It will have to go to my collegiate tennis coach. I played Division II tennis at Stonehill College up in Massachusetts, just south of Boston. And I walked onto the team. I was not recruited. I actually walked on my sophomore year, and I had played in high school. I was decent, but it was quite a boot camp. She pretty much drove us into the ground. It was the best shape I've ever been in my life. She is a 30+ time Boston Marathon runner. She's a survivor of breast cancer. And she is quite a hero, but you don't want her to be your coach. But I love her to death. We're still friends to this day. We keep up with each other through Facebook. But she is absolutely wonderful. My coach, Sandy.
That's wonderful. This interview is not about me, so I'll spare you, but I have a very similar story, actually. Similar story. So Excellent. So you are way, way, way closer to your 18-year-old self than I am. This is a fact. But if you jump on a time machine, go back to your 18-year-old self and whisper in your ear and say, Jackie, listen to me. Listen to me. This is what you should do differently. This is what you should have, So what would you tell your 18-year-old self if you had a chance to go back and talk to her?
I would tell her to save her money. All those night dinners out and, going to the movie theater and going to do all these fun things in your late teens, early 20s. I worked really hard. I started working in high school and I really have never stopped since. And I do kind of kick myself that I wasn't smarter with my money, especially before kids. That would have been a better time for us to be a little smarter with kind of putting a little more in the bank or a Roth IRA or whatever the case may be, but something to kind of ease the brunt after having kids when you're not necessarily dual income. So
Yeah, so save for a rainy day, save for a strike in the acting industry, save for all those things, right?
And really save for your dreams, because it would be a dream of mine to be a writer director and create content for the rest of my life, but unfortunately it takes money. So unless there's a producer out there who'd like to read my scripts, but it takes a lot of money up front to become a writer director who's successful in this business. So that would be something I wish I had saved for.
But it does start with a dream, Jackie.
It does. It does. And a bank account. But yes.
That can soon follow.
Right.
You have the dream. So Jackie, I love talking to local business owners. I love your history, your background, your history. I've never had an interview in your industry, so it's interesting to listen to you talk. So I really appreciate your time. But before we wrap this thing up, just make sure you have an opportunity to give all the listeners every opportunity to contact you, engage with you, sponsor you, anything that you'd like to leave with our listening audience. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, Studio South Atlanta is definitely one of its own, there's really not a lot of acting facilities on the South Side that provide training for film and television acting. So if that is something that you or your family is considering, definitely check out our website, studiosouthatl.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Studio South ATLGA. And we provide a lot of great content on there. This week, my students are working on Crying on Cue, and it is a technical skill that does not require you to feel anything. So in case that's intriguing to any of you, especially for those of you who are already actors, a lot of folks think that you have to go to the deep, dark place to get a tear, and you don't. It's a very technical job, like I mentioned in the beginning. So definitely hit us up on social media. We have some really great things coming up at the studio. We have on October 14th, what's called Demo Day. So it's kind of like which came first, the chicken or the egg. Until you become a working actor that has examples of your work from productions that have aired, you don't have an example of your work that you can showcase. So what we do is we produce what's called demo footage, and then you use that on your actors' profiles to showcase to casting directors to see example of you acting. And it's fully produced. It looks cinematic. It looks like it came right from a television or a film. And it gives them an example of you acting where it looks like a really fully produced piece of work. So that's on October 14th. And then October 21st is one of our most popular workshops that we offer, which is voiceover for animation and video games. And that is with our coach, Nicole Britton, who is currently on an animated series as a voice for one of the characters. I can't promote it because we're still on strike, but if you look her up, you could probably find it. And that's on October 21st. We have a kids workshop in the morning, and then we have an adults workshop in the afternoon. Everything is right on our website, studiosouthatl.com.
I might need to attend that Crying on Cue. This is a skill I think that anybody can use, not just an actor, right? I mean,
yes.
Business coach. I could find some use for this. Yeah.
Yes. Typically, after I've taught that, I do get myself in trouble when the students come back the following week and tell me how many people they tricked, including their teachers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my
It's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. Late, sorry. Well, Jackie, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really recommend for all of you out there to look her up, contact her. She's here local in the Newton area in Georgia, South Atlanta, and it sounds like she's running a fantastic business. So look her up. So Jackie, thank you. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Colin. Take care.